Let's take a look at solving quadratic equations by factoring. Quadratics, because this leading term has a power of 2, if you have any variable with a power of 2, you should rearrange your equation so that your variable terms are in decreasing power, squared, linear, and then your constant term. This is going to help you with your factoring. It's equal to 0, and we're asking ourselves to find the value of x. Now, the first term is x squared, and the only way to get x squared is x times x. And so we put those both in the first positions. Now, this sign is negative. That means our two factors have different signs, and the greater pair, OI terms, when you FOIL this to check it, is negative. 16 has factors of 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. We're looking for, remember, a difference of 6. So which two factors have a difference of 6? It's 2 and 8. So we are going to use the 2 and the 8. We need the larger O of the OI terms or products to be negative. So this one would be negative, and then this inner one would be positive. Let's verify that we factored it correctly. X squared minus 8x plus 2x minus 6x minus 16. So we are good to go. Now we set each factor equal to 0. Because if two different factors or items are multiplied together to be 0, then one of them has to be 0. On this left side, let's subtract 2 from both sides. So subtract 2 from both sides. So one solution is negative 2, and over here we're going to add 8 to both sides, and we get x equals 8. Now before we're done, let's go ahead and verify they are correct by substituting in. You get a negative 2 squared is 4, negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12, so 12 and 4 is 16, 16 minus 16 is 0, so that works. You can do the same check with the 8. For this next one, the numbers are a little bigger. That's okay, but we've got this in non-standard form. We need squared term, linear term, constant, so we need to subtract this guy to the other side. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to subtract 40u from both sides. That gives us 25u squared minus 40u plus 16 is equal to 0. Now, equal to 0, we're going to try and factor this side. This sign is positive. That means both factors have the same sign. This one's negative, so both our factors are negative. These two are even, but this guy isn't, so we can't divide by anything to make this more simple for us. 25 has factors of 1 and 25, 5 and 5. Let's go ahead and put our frame up. We know they're both negative. We know there's a u here and a u here. We have to decide what those coefficients are. Factors of 16, 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. And remember, again, the factors have the same sign, and so we are looking for products of factors from here and factors from here to give us this O and I in the interior that are going to add to 40. You can test and check them. What you're going to find is that we want to use the 5s and the 4s. 5s and 4s. Let's check. 5u times 5u is 25u squared. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Now the OI middle terms. Outside, negative 20u. Inside, negative 20u. Add them together and get negative 40. And that works. So that really is this 5u minus 4 quantity squared, because the factors are the same. So when we go ahead and make these factors equal to 0, we only need to do it once. 5u minus 4 is equal to 0. Add 4 to both sides. We get 5u is equal to 4. We're going to divide both sides by 5. So u is equal to 4 over 5. You can go ahead and substitute that into the original equation and see that that does indeed work. and is a solution. So sometimes they're not really pretty, but the factoring will still work. With practice, you will get much better at being able to use lots of factors to match up to get that middle OI term. One more for us. On this one, we've got the squared term on one side, the linear term on the other, so we need to subtract this over to make it equal to 0. There is no constant term, and that's okay. So let's subtract 3w from both sides. That gives us w squared minus 3w is equal to 0. Let's go ahead and factor. We're going to do that by pulling out the common factor of w. We can't factor anymore, so we're going to set each factor equal to 0, and then the w minus 3 equal to 0. Add 3 to both sides. W equals 3. And so this is saying that we have two solutions. Let's check 0. 0 squared is 0. 3 times 0 is 0, so that works. 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 is 9, so that works. So these are our two solutions. So again, we are going ahead and solving by factoring is taking whatever we have, putting it in standard form, factoring it however we can, GCF, reverse boiling, however you want to call it. It is equal to 0. Don't forget to keep that nice and aligned so that you keep that 0, because it's because of the 0 property that we're allowed to come down and set each of them equal to 0. And as one last thought, remember, when solving these, we are really looking at functions in the plane xy. If we have a quadratic, and this is f of x is equal to 0 here when its y values are 0. So when you say you're solving, so when you're asked to solve, you are finding a root, or finding a 0, or finding a solution. They all mean the exact same thing. Hope you're having a great day.